I almost switched it.
Yeah. I've seen like a third of our class. Something like that. No, not gonna. Yeah. I've seen a third of our class right now. Not much. No, it doesn't mean much. It's the week before spring break. I feel like everyone's just trying to survive at this point. No, there will be more assignment. Yeah. I'm not available today. I have doctor's appointments. I gotta leave right after 2:01 today. On the chapter 4 assignment, just answer them the best you can for right now. All right, I'm gonna do attendance really fast. Call your name and let me know that you're here, please. Jarrett, Jared, Kiki, Sarah, Mark, Dakota, Kira, Tobias, Athena, Thomas, Trent, Gavin, Henry, Nick, Dean, Derek, Anna, Grant, Kobe, Chris. Chris was in here a second ago. Zach, Felix, Carly, Colton, Ben, Maddie, Brock, or Jeremy. There's Maddie. All right. We're going to keep talking about chapter 5 today. You guys need to get into your groups, please.
One more. You're not gonna get mad at me.
No, you need to like scoot over at least one. Scoot over one.
I will.
Scoot over one.
I'll do it just for you.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Make me feel all special.
You know, normally I don't.
I know.
And that's how much you will. It's like Harley. Yeah.
Every group have at least like 2 people here. We're missing a whole bunch of people. Dean's group's right here. Okay, so we're gonna keep going on chapter number 5. We did a lot of stuff in your groups on Monday. It's gonna be pretty similar to that today. So the next part of chapter 5, where we got to, we've been talking about words and how we can use words to improve our writing style. So either expanding on things we need to expand on, writing a little more concisely where we need to do that. So let me see if I can get this to work here. We're going to keep talking about writing concisely. When we're writing concisely, what we want to do is to avoid wordy expressions. We saw a little bit of that on Monday, right? We don't want to be overly wordy. You want to get your point across without saying it like 15 times, right? We also want to avoid hidden verbs and subjects. Sorry. Can't like breathe through my nose right now. It's great. So how we're going to eliminate redundancies. We're going to look at, again, 2 phrases, and we're going to figure out how we can make them sound better. These are going to be really wordy. You guys are going to shorten them, okay? So our 2 phrases, the end result will be that we are completely unanimous, and the other one is each and every one of us is exactly the same. So in your groups, figure out how you could shorten those, write it down if you need to. We'll talk about it in like a minute, okay? So discuss amongst yourselves. If you need to know what any of those words mean, please ask me. Yes. Yeah. All right, so how would we make the end result will be that we are completely unanimous, a little less redundant there? How are we going to shorten that up? We all agree. That's even shorter than what I have in mind. I said we will be unanimous. Okay. What about the other one? Each and every one of us is exactly the same.
We're all the same.
Yeah, we're the same. Okay. So we want to take those phrases where we're over saying what we need to say and break it down a little bit. Okay. Some more examples of this we're going to do. We're going to this time work on specifically eliminating some wordiness. So it's basically the same concept here. Okay. The tiles on the floor will reflect the lighting on the ceiling. Our first one that we're going to shorten down. The second one, our benefits for employees are at the top of the list for companies in our competitive set. Okay. What are how can we make those 2 statements shorter? Again, discuss it amongst your groups. All right, who in here is in group number 1? Group one, how would you make this shorter? The floor tiles will reflect the ceiling light. Okay. Group number 2, who's group 2? Group 2, how would you make the second one shorter? Okay. I think we can make that even shorter. That's good. But I think we can make it even shorter. Group 3, what did you guys put for that one? It's okay. Yeah, even shorter, right? Our benefits are better than our competitors. Okay. So again, when we're talking about this, when we're talking about shortening these things, we're talking about business writing specifically, not how you would write things on like a research paper, because I know you want to expand that as much as possible, so you don't have to think of more things to write and you're however many page papers there are. This is for business writing specifically. We want to be concise and not very wordy. All right, last one for our words here. We're going to see if we can find the hidden verbs and fix these particular sentences, okay? So again, just trying to get to a better meaning in these sentences. A reduction in the price is essential. The first one, how could we say that differently so that it makes a little more sense? And I've made a decision that the product faces elimination. Okay, so how can we make those two sentences a little less weird? They just sound kind of weird, right?
So you said like a price reduction is essential.
That work? Just make it make more sense. They'll end up being shorter anyway.
That is a product. Are we trying to use those words or can we use other words?
You need other words. However you can make that make more sense. All right. Group 4. Where's group 4? Is that you guys? Okay, how would we fix the first one?
Price reduction is essential.
Perfect. Price reduction is essential. How can we fix the second one, group number 5? Where's group 5? How are we gonna fix that second one?
I've decided the product needs to be eliminated.
That works, right? That sounds better than I have made a decision that the product faces elimination, right? So again, we're just trying to make things clearer. Okay. We're gonna move on to sentences. Okay, so 3 words. There's not as many of these examples in our next 3 little sections here. Words had the most. We're talking about writing effective sentences though. There are 3 sentence types that we can use in writing. There are simple sentences, compound sentences, and there are complex sentences. All of them are appropriate to use in business writing. So we want to use a variety of sentence types. If we just use simple sentences all the time, our writing sounds really boring. We don't want to do that. We also want to use active and passive voice appropriately. Voice is the aspect of a verb that shows whether the subject of the sentence act or is active on. So in active voice, the subject is performing the action. In passive voice, the subject receives the action. Okay? A lot of business writing is going to be done in active voice. And then the last thing is we need to use parallel structure. That means we're matching adjectives and adjectives with adjectives and nouns with nouns, infinitives with infinitives. Basically, we're not using verbs that don't go together, okay? Or nouns that don't go together. Keeping everything nice and neat. So our 3 different sentence types. With a simple sentence, you have one independent clause. With a compound, you have two or more. And a complex sentence usually has an independent clause and one or more dependent clauses. So we're going to do these ones all together. This is a little more complicated. All right, so on our screen, there are 4 sentences. We're going to figure out which types of sentences these are. The first one is, please remember to turn out the lights when you leave. You would think that would be simple. It's not a simple sentence. It's a complex sentence. Okay? They're asking for 2 things: to turn out the lights when they leave. Warren started working here in April, and he has already finished with his first major proposal. What was it? Compound. Okay, it's basically a compound sentence. We're putting 2 of them together. Okay. I don't know why he doesn't remember any of the new employees' names or where they work. So that one is the simple one. Okay. We're just talking about our employees' names. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that sounds more complex to me. Last one. After you left on Friday, we decided to move the deadline. What? Complex. Okay. But that's confusing. Don't get super caught up in that. Okay. So what we're going to focus on is making the following 2 phrases, taking them from passive voice to active voice. Okay. More business writing is an active voice, so we want to be active in our writing. So we have 2 phrases up here. We have, too many lobsters have been ordered by the chef, and our quarterly sales numbers will be confirmed by the auditors. How can we change those so that they sound more active? So go ahead and talk about those in your groups, and we'll come back in about a minute. All right, let's see, group 5 is left, so group 6, where's group 6? You guys, how are you gonna fix that first one? Yeah. Okay, not quite there. Group 1, how would you fix the first one? The chef ordered too many lobsters. Chef is our noun. He ordered too many lobsters. Okay, it's pretty active. Group 2, where's group 2? Keep forgetting where my groups are. You guys group 2? How would you fix the second one?
Auditors confirmed our quarterly sales.
Okay, we're gonna change it just a little bit. We're gonna say the auditors will confirm our quarterly sales. Okay, will confirm. Because they haven't actually done it yet. So we don't want to change what's happened, but we'll confirm. So think back to like English when you were like in high school, right? There's some verbs, there's some being verbs: am, is, are, was, were, be, and been. If you're using that in your sentence, it's probably in passive voice, right? Too many lobsters have been ordered by the chef. Our quarterly sales numbers will be confirmed. Okay, so if you're trying to make things into more an active voice, try eliminating those things. I had a class in college where our teacher wouldn't let us use those words. It was very annoying. We literally had to go through everything we wrote and take those out. But if you want to write an active voice, it helps a lot. Okay, again, that's particularly for business writing. How can we improve parallel structure? One of the ways we can improve parallel structure, one of the things we can do is to use a colon or to use bullet points. Okay, it just helps visually with what we're trying to do. So we're not gonna spend a lot of time on that because I don't feel like we need to. I feel like you guys have that. Another just example is when we're writing things out with bullet points, especially if we're looking at questions. So on the first slide, it says, what is independent research? Cost of conducting independent research. The things that they're putting get shorter. We need to make sure that we're putting those all in the same kind of format. So what is independent research? What are the costs of conducting independent research, instead of just like shortening it down. That's one of those places where you would want the whole question there. You want it to be a little bit longer. Okay. See, that one wasn't too painful, right? We're going to go into paragraphs. Okay. A paragraph, we're taking related sentences that focus on one main idea and putting them together. So we have our main idea or the topic, and then we have some supporting sentences underneath that. Okay. A paragraph is typically part of a longer message, or it could be an entire email. What we're trying to do is make things a little bit more manageable for our readers, okay? Even if you're talking about the same topic through an entire paper, like a 5-page paper should not be 1 paragraph long, okay? It just shouldn't be. That's really hard to read. It makes it seem like you only have one main point in the whole thing you're talking about. That's not what we want to do. Again, most of you in here don't have a problem with this. Okay, they're very, I've come across very few students that don't understand how to use a paragraph. Okay. What usually happens though, is we get confused about how long a paragraph should be. So we want to make sure our paragraphs have a couple things. We want to make sure they're logical, and we do that by making sure we have paragraph unity, coherence, and paragraph length. Okay, so paragraph unity means that we're only talking about one particular topic with its supporting sentence in that paragraph. If we move on to a different topic or a different subpoint of something, we need a new paragraph, okay? Same thing with coherence. Those two kind of go together. Paragraph length is where people can start to get confused. How long should a paragraph be?
5 sentences.
5 sentences? What if I told you that there's no rules for how long a paragraph should be? Some professors will tell you different, right? They what? Yeah. Well, not even be consistent with each other. There are some cases where a paragraph can be 1 sentence long and make complete sense. Okay. When you're writing a research paper, 5 sentences, 5 to 10 sentences, probably a good unit of measurement. Business writing, again, is different. We want to make sure we're getting the point across without being too wordy, keeping in mind all the other things that we've talked about so far. But there are no fixed rules for paragraph length in business writing. Sometimes a 1-sentence paragraph can get your point across for that particular topic. Sometimes it might take you 10 sentences. Most paragraphs for business writers fall between 60 to 80 words, which is long enough for a topic sentence and 3 or 4 supporting sentences. So 5 is not a bad rule of thumb, but they can be less if need be. Again, this is specific to business writing. Please don't go to like an English class and tell them I told you you only have to write 1 sentence per paragraph. Okay. I don't need the English teachers to come down on me. Okay. So writing a unified and coherent paragraph. What you're going to do in your groups is on our next slide, you're going to read all of the sentences. We're going to take away a sentence that doesn't actually go with the topic we're talking about, or that would make sense elsewhere in a paper on this topic, okay? So there's one thing that doesn't, it's about the same thing, but it doesn't really belong there. We're going to take that one out. We're going to rearrange the sentences in a logical order so that they flow appropriately together. And then some of them we might need to change, right? So using transitions or repetition and pronouns to make the structure seem natural. So in your groups, you're going to do this. You're going to rearrange these particular sentences and you're going to take one of them out. You might need to write this down. They should have numbers in front of them. Nope, they don't. Of course they don't. So figure out a way to make these 5 sentences make sense. Remember, we're going to take one out of there. It's talking about chocolate, by the way. Okay, hearing conversation dwindle. Which of these sentences, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which one is going to go first? Okay, we've created a 2. Fourth one. Any other answers?
No, first doesn't take out.
No, which one are we going to put first in our paragraph?
Oh.
Okay. 4, 3. Hearing a lot of 4 and 3. Okay, so we would probably put on here, the first one we'd probably put is 4, right? It introduces you to what we're talking about, chocolate being threatened by disease. Okay. Now I don't know if chocolate is really the seed of love, but the whole thing is about chocolate being threatened by disease. Okay. So to our answer, I'll go back in just a second. Chocolate being threatened by disease. Perfect. All right. So what would we put next? Lots of 5. Anything else? Which? 5, 1. Okay. So what I would probably put next is 2. Yeah. Chocolate love is everywhere. The seed of love, the cocoa bean, is threatened by disease. Increased international shipping has made it a very real possibility, and the consequences. That would be close to catastrophic. Wait, that doesn't make sense. My brain stopped working. Sorry, not 5, or not 2. Sorry, 1. Wow, my brain's not working today, guys. I think 1 would probably go better there. Okay. So we have our topic sentence, chocolate being threatened by disease. If we put 1 next, it introduces what we think might happen. What's the next one we need? Okay, 5 is the one we're going to leave out. And I'll explain why in a minute. We're not gonna put 5 in there. 2. So we have our topic sentence. We introduce what we think might happen, why it might happen, increase international shipping. What's the last one? The solution. Okay. Topic sentence, what might happen, why it might happen, and a solution. We would probably put number 5 as the topic of the next paragraph in this, because now we're going to talk more about those diseases. So in this first paragraph, we're just introducing basically what the rest of this is going to be about, right? It's about chocolate. It's about 2 diseases, witches, broom, and black pot rot. It's about increased international shipping causing those things, and then the solution, or what we think the solution is. So 5, it's a good sentence. We want to keep it in there, but it's going to go in the next paragraph. That's probably the topic where we talk about those 2 diseases. Does that make sense? Why we kind of did it that way? Okay. All right, last part of this chapter, talking about tone. About conveying an appropriate tone. And the way that we do that, especially in business writing, is we have to write confidently, okay? We want to be courteous and sincere in our writing, so we're not trying to be harsh and mean. That doesn't get us anywhere. There's an old saying that says you get more flies with honey than with vinegar, and it's true in business writing as well. If you're just kind of rude and brash, you're not going to get anywhere as quickly. Use appropriate words, use positive language, stress a you attitude. So we're going to look at wow, again, my brain is just really tired today. We're going to look at 2 sentences again, and we're going to figure out how we can make them sound more or less confident, okay? So we need to change these a little bit. I don't want you to get caught up on making them sound more and less confident. I want you to get caught up on making them just sound better, right? We're not going to spend a lot of time on tone because most of you have your own writing style that is good already, okay? So I don't feel like we need to spend a lot of time here. But there are different ways we could say these 2 sentences, these 2 particular sentences, where they would just sound better when we're writing them to someone, okay? So if you would like to set up an appointment, just ask. I feel like that's kind of mean, a little bit, depending on how you say it. And I know that you'll like our new delivery schedule. How could we say these differently so they just sound better? I don't think that if you would like to set an appointment part is wrong. I think the just ask part can be seen as a little bit rude. Like if I said to you guys, hey, if you guys want to set an appointment, just ask me. That's different than if you don't know me and I say, if you would like to set up an appointment, just ask. You guys know me, so it would sound different. What? Just let me know. I think it's better. One thing we could do with the appointment one is instead of just saying if you would like to set an appointment, just ask, we could say, when are you available to meet? Or are you available on, Friday at 10 a.m., right? We could offer a time because it apparently from the context of the sentence, there's been a conversation about someone needs to meet with somebody else, okay? So we might just throw out an appointment time and see if they say yes or no to that. What about the second one? I know that you'll like our new delivery schedule. So what we could do here is give reasons why the new delivery schedule is better, okay? Instead of just saying, I know you'll like our new delivery schedule, we could tell what our new delivery schedule does. Maybe it's faster service, maybe it's more options. We could say something like our new delivery schedule provides faster service, right? So instead of saying, I know that you're gonna like it, tell them why you think it's better. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna show you guys what your homework is for chapter 5. Before I show you the homework for chapter 5, there are a lot of questions. They are not due till after spring break. A lot of the questions are going to be like things we have done in class the last 2 days. If this totally and completely confuses you, that is okay. Okay, all I want you to do is try on these. Like actually make a good faith effort and try. If you get it completely wrong, I'm not going to count it wrong. I'm going to tell you how to fix it. Okay, so if you do all the problems, all the parts of all the problems, you're going to get points. Does that make sense? Okay, it's usually how I grade the homework in here, if you haven't noticed yet. So, again, this is going to seem like a lot. Please don't freak out. Okay, this is not due until the Wednesday we come back from spring break. This is not due until 2 weeks. This is not due until 2 weeks from today. You don't have to do it during spring break. You have the rest of this week. You have the first 3 days after spring break. Okay? It seems like a lot of things, but they're pretty short questions. All right? I was going to be meaner and make you do all of them, but you can do that. I can't remember what day is 2 weeks from today, but 2 weeks from today is the 23rd. It's not due until March 23rd. All right? That is it. No, please do this by yourself. No groups on this one. I will see you guys on Friday. We're gonna do some more group stuff on Friday. You don't have to.
So sometimes it says like yes or no or whatever, and I always write it.
No, you don't. If you want to, so it makes more sense to you, that's fine. But if you just want to put yes or no, I know what you're doing in there.
I'll send you an email for Tuesday that we come back. So I'll be in class on Monday, but then Tuesday we're leaving for North Carolina.
You guys gonna be gone like this a week? Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
My flight's on Friday, so I'm not gonna eat.
Okay. Cool. Have a safe flight. Have a good spring break. Thanks. I'm just like sleeping all of spring break, so it's gonna be great.
I'm leaving tomorrow at 2 a.m.
Holy moly, that's really
That
early.
was the cheapest flight.